Hi, my name is Andrew Davis and welcome back to the Millennial Project. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about inequality and the Hollywood sign. So there's actually this huge issue in LA right now about access to the Hollywood sign, and all of these wealthy homeowners who live right below the sign are trying to shut off that access so that tourists don't come into their neighborhood. And I thought this was an interesting way to look at inequality, because we so often think of inequality in terms of dollars and cents, in terms of Washington versus Wall Street or Wall Street versus Main Street, and we kind of get this whole like 99% versus the 1%, that whole gig. But we rarely get a really clear look into one of these issues on a local level. So what I wanted to do today was take you over to the sign and kind of poke around and try to get an idea of what's going on there, and try to see how, again, this smaller kind of local issue surrounding the Hollywood sign can help us get a better handle on the larger dialogue about inequality that's become kind of the preeminent issue in this 2016 election cycle.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Hollywood Boulevard. Head east on Hollywood Boulevard toward Highland Avenue. Turn left onto Highland Avenue. In a quarter mile, turn right onto Franklin Avenue. Continue on Franklin Avenue for 1.5 miles. Turn left onto Northwestern Avenue. Continue on Western Canyon Road for 1.5 miles. In 600 feet, turn right. Turn right onto West Observatory Road. In a quarter mile, you will arrive at your destination. You have arrived.
So this is where, if you ask for directions on Google Maps or Apple Maps or Garmin to the Hollywood sign, this is where you're going to be led to. And it's a little bit weird because the Hollywood sign is so far away. You can see back there, it's actually like 4 miles, something like that. So it takes a long time if you actually wanted to walk to the sign, which we're going to do in a little while. But the reason that you're taken here is because the residents of Beachwood Canyon, who live right below the sign, are tired of having tourists come through, and they wanted people to be directed here. So I wanted to take a picture to show kind of how ridiculous this is and how bad all these people's pictures are turning out when they come to try to see the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. So we just got out of the car. We had to park down here about 1 mile away from the opening to the trail. That's another 1.5 to 2 miles to the sign. And so we had to do that because a lot of the residents in this area, in this neighborhood, have been petitioning the city to get the parking changed. So if you go up towards the sign, you can't actually park near there. All right, so like I mentioned before, this is a wealthier neighborhood. Basically, every house along this street right here is about $1 to $2 million, and then once you get up further, you're going to end up with houses that are, closer to the multi-million-dollar range. So you got a lot of people with a lot of money here, and the inclination is that with that money comes, access to high-powered lawyers, access to people at City Hall, stuff like that. So another interesting thing that's going on up here is that the residents, by calling the city council, have gotten these road barricades installed. They basically look like, just kind of standard construction signs, but they say road closed or residents only, and the goal is to deter tourists who don't know the area very well from actually going closer to the sign. You also have people who are coming up here and then like pulling those signs out, or writing on them like there is access and stuff like that, so you can see kind of in real time that there's this kind of fight going on between public space advocates and residents in the neighborhood. So this is the trailhead, or the opening to the Holly Ridge Trail, which brings you to the Hollywood sign, which already can be a little bit confusing, but this was actually just closed for a long time, longer than it was scheduled to be closed, as the city installed this new gate that's right behind me. Obviously there's no issue with having a gate entering a public park. All over LA there's gates like this, but what makes this particular gate unique is that it's very confusing as to whether or not it's a private gate or a public gate. If you go to other parks, a lot of times the gates are green. Otherwise, a lot of times the door like that one over there will be open during the daytime, so you can walk in. But over here, this looks like a private gate. It looks like a gate that you're not allowed to walk into. And there's a lot of people that you'll see kind of confused, trying to figure out and test okay, can I go up and see if we can get in? And if I do get in, am I trespassing, and that kind of stuff. So this is just kind of another one of those, things that the residents are kind of doing and they're a part of to try to keep people away from the Hollywood sign. So this is just an example of how much better the view of the sign gets really as soon as you get onto the Holly Ridge Trail after leaving the Beachwood Canyon neighborhood, or right behind the Beachwood Canyon neighborhood. And it's really not something that you can replicate in downtown Hollywood, near Griffith Park Observatory, or Runyon Canyon, some of these other places that people want to direct tourists to see the sign. So now we're at the top of Mount Lee, which is where the Hollywood sign is located, and this is pretty much the best view that you can get of the sign. You can get a little bit higher and see it from above, but this is it. So, there it is, there's the H, there's the O, but you'd never be able to tell from watching this on camera or on your computer or on your phone or whatever that those are 40-foot tall letters. So they're huge, but you really can't get an idea of it. You can't get a picture in front of them, and it's kind of disappointing for a lot of people who come up here. They have they're coming from out of town, they want to see the sign, and the only thing they can do is get this kind of bad behind the sign picture with a chain link fence in it, or if they're lucky, maybe they can get it below their face if they kind of do this sort of a thing.
I'm from Maryland originally.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I went to school in Baltimore at Hopkins.
Yeah?
Yeah, where are you from in Maryland?
Yeah, we're from Bel Air, just above Baltimore.
Oh, no way. That's great. That's awesome. Who would have thought at the Hollywood sign? Yeah. No, so are you guys living in LA now, or?
I am. They're on a road trip and they're just staying with me for a couple of days. So anytime I have friends from out of town, I always take them up the Wonder Tree Trail, up to the Wisdom Tree, and then cut over this ridge of the Hollywood Mountains and get up to here.
Yeah, so how did you guys find out about this trail originally?
I just had friends here who had posted pictures online, and I just asked them how to get here, and they dropped me a pin as to where the trailhead is, and just followed it.
But not you weren't able to search on Google or anything and be like, how do I get to the Hollywood sign, and suddenly easily be able to get up here? Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like to hide it, but you can find some places on some of the trail websites if you know where to look.
And so, also you guys are from out of town, are they happy with this picture?
Yeah, most people are hoping to get right up to the sign, or at least right under it. They're not always looking to get behind it with a gate and everything. So You know, as long as you let them know ahead of time, they're not too disappointed. But people are always looking for a way to get like much closer, and it sucks because this neighborhood down here, they can get like they're really protective, and like if you go down, there's this park right down here, this like spot of land here, and if you try to get to that park, it's a totally public park, but the entire road has roadblocks, has road closed signs all the way up it. They're not real. They're just like the neighborhood put them up to keep people out. I was just driving around them, but there's a parking lot there and everything. But they say like locals only, no access to the Hollywood sign. All this like it's all lies to keep people away. But yeah.
And if you didn't know someone here, you would just drive home and you'd never get the picture, yeah?
Exactly. I've gotten up to that point and seen cars just turn around. Like they're looking on Google Maps to see like what's the closest road, what's the closest park that they can get to, and yeah, they get there, they're discouraged, they turn around. But yeah, if you know to look, just keep going. No one's really gonna bother you because they can't legally.
Nice, I like it. Hey, well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So that was just day one. It was just the first step into what is an immensely complicated issue surrounding the Hollywood sign. Next time, we're going to get a chance to talk to some of the residents who live below the sign, and I intend to ask them why they feel so passionately about keeping people out of their neighborhood, why they're working so hard to basically change the parking, to put up road barricades, and to gate off the trailhead that we used to get to the Hollywood sign. And I think that they're going to offer a pretty compelling other side of the story that may even call into question whether the larger story here that I'm reporting on is one about wealthy residents trying to shut off access to a public landmark in their backyard, or if instead it's really a story about a dedicated group of local activists simply trying to save their neighborhood. So we are going to dive into all of that next time. Until then, if you like what you saw today, definitely subscribe to the channel on YouTube, like the page on Facebook, share what we're doing with your friends. You know, this thing travels by word of mouth, so the fate of the show kind of rests in your hands. Other than that, thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Andrew Davis for The Millennial Project.